Welcome everybody out there. Like, what the hell is going on? That all these players, like Liverpool was an absolute. Let's not get crazy. We're a 3-team teaser. Another great edition. Football focus. Talking about the Premier League. Talking about everything that's going on. It's been a real big week. Happy to be back.
Happy to be back. I'm glad to be back.
Glad to be back. There's a lot of stuff going on out there. Let's jump right into it. Last weekend, Premier League. I guess first of all, our teaser, our 4-match teaser last week. Disappointment.
Gone wrong.
Gone wrong, yeah. But these things are so, listen, they're impossible to predict. They are. We got a few right, we got a few wrong. That's how it goes. Chelsea, I liked Chelsea last weekend. They didn't look very good against Fulham.
Yeah.
That was a dull 0-0 draw. We lost that one. We did hit the Man U with Crystal Palace. Casemiro almost killed Will Hughes in that game. Yeah, we were talking about this earlier in the week. Like, I've seen that in many games in the past with like one arm on the neck. I've seen it before. I don't think I can ever recall two on the neck, 2 hands on the neck.
Yep.
And he went with 2. It was an obvious red card. It was ridiculous. But we did hit on that one. The Arsenal and Everton game. Wow, Everton looked outstanding. Sean Dyche. What an opening for him. They looked really good. Arsenal looked really bad as well. But all the credit goes to Everton. They looked really, really strong in that match. I thought they completely outplayed Arsenal, so we missed that one, but that's the way it goes. Congratulations to Everton on a great win. And then the other one that we did hit was the Brentford over Southampton. Southampton. Yeah, we did hit that one. Yeah, but for the 4-match teaser, sadly, it didn't work out. Oh well. I guess after those matches, the big one then last Sunday, Spurs and Mancity. Let's talk about that one a little bit.
You know what? Just a quick thing.
Yeah.
You remember the last video you said that you can imagine Kane scoring goals for Spurs to beat Man City.
That's right. Yeah,
Well,
that's right.
somehow he just magically did it again.
I know it.
He just did what you said.
Yeah. We did mention that in the clip. And he got the goal. He's just always knows where to be on his football mind is so brilliant. He knows where to be on the pitch at all times. And he got the goal. That goal actually came fairly early in the game. I think it was around the 20th minute.
Yep.
And after that, Man City still had another like 70, 75 minutes. They looked terrible trying to get that equalizing goal. Like, I don't recall them really having any great chances at all. It was another poor game for Haaland as well. Yeah. He's having a great season, but recently in kind of the big matches against the bigger teams, he's gone missing. And this was another example of it.
Well, this is the thing that shows the weakness of Man City is that if you shut down Haaland, you always shut down all the team.
Absolutely.
I mean, this is the weakness of the weak point of Man City right now. That was exposed by the other team.
They don't have a plan B right now. That's the problem. Their plan B is reinforcing plan A, which is get the ball to Haaland. But if that's not there, they've got nothing. They've got nothing to go to. I mean, maybe if they had Raheem Sterling in one of these situations, maybe selling him was a bit of a mistake. I don't know, but he's not having a very good season with Chelsea either, so it's difficult to say that. The young lad who had the good World Cup from Argentina, Alvarez. Yeah, he hasn't been very good for them. After the World Cup, I think he scored a goal right after that, and there was some excitement about him going, but he hasn't really done much. I think they were expecting a bit more out of him. Man City, they really let a good opportunity slip away, especially with Arsenal losing. So nothing changed at the top of the table. Nothing really changed. But that can lead us into the other big news with Man City that came out earlier in the week. Crisis mode. Massive scandal that was going on for 8 years, they said. Starting in 2010, finishing with the 2018 season. So 8 years of cooking the books. Really is what it was. And it doesn't look good at all. What do you think about this situation?
Well, I think if you saw in the news, Pep says that if any of the case is I mean, if Man City was wrong,
Right.
he will leave.
Correct. Yeah.
And
he did say that.
He did say that, and Pep is a man of his word.
Correct.
He will do everything to. I mean, he won't gonna. I mean, he will do what he said because it's his reputation.
Oh, absolutely.
It's his reputation, and Pep it wasn't his dream to come and manage Man City. If he leaves, maybe he can go and manage Spain, bigger club in Spain.
Absolutely.
Man City
There's
wasn't his
always
dream.
jobs for him.
Yeah, I mean, Man City wasn't his dream to manage. If
Correct.
he leaves, well, I mean, he's worldies. He's world class.
Absolutely. Yeah.
Any big club would want to hire him to be the manager, so it should be a problem of him walking away.
Oh, listen, he'll get another job, no doubt. He'll get another job, whatever job he wants, he can have. I do know that he loves the Premier League, though. It would hurt him to have to leave the Premier League. They say once these managers, these kind of top managers, come to the Premier League and they kind of get it in their blood, under their skin, it's really hard for them to let go of it because it's such a passionate league, a great league. They find it difficult moving on from it, but he might have to. So if we look at the years of 2010 to 2018, those 8 seasons, in those 8 seasons, Man City won 3 Premier League titles.
3 Premier League titles.
Yep, they won in 2012, which was the famous one with Aguero scoring the goal to beat QPR and win it, 95th minute, famous game. Yep, they won it 2 years later in 2014, which was the season that Steven Gerrard slipped against Chelsea late in the season, and Man City took advantage and beat Liverpool by 2 points. And then the other one that they got was the 2018 title, where they finished with 100 points, the only team to ever finish with 100 points. So those are the 3 titles that they got, Premier League titles, while these cheating scandals were allegedly going on. Allegedly, we'll give them the benefit of the doubt until we see all the facts. So, I mean, it's ugly. It's really, really ugly that they got 3 titles in that time. I think if they can prove this case against Man City, which, by the way, the charges were like 100 charges. It wasn't a couple. It was 100 charges. Yes. And the 2 big ones revolved around player salaries and Pep Guardiola's salary. Those are the 2 key charges, where the one involving Pep Guardiola basically says that although he works for Man City aren't paying him. It's actually a shell company set up by Abu Dhabi that's paying him.
On the order.
Yeah, correct. And because it's coming from a shell company, by the way, that essentially means a fake company that's paying him. Sometimes we hear this slang, that's all shell company means, a fake company.
Right.
Essentially, a fake company which had money coming in from Abu Dhabi into it to pay Guardiola. Since it's not connected to the club, that means that his salary doesn't affect the FFP, the financial fair play.
Yeah.
They're able to get around that financial fair play because they're saying his salary is much lower. Man City's only paying him a little bit, but actually he's getting a lot from this shell company. And he's happy getting all that money, of course. That's one of the really, really big charges. The other charge involves player salaries, which is basically a recap of what I just explained about the shell company. So those are the 2 big ones. There's some minor ones, but if the Premier League can prove those 2 big charges that they've been investigating now for 5 years. I guess this investigation's been going on for 5 years, and then they just released all this data a few days ago. They must feel very confident to have come out and released all this stuff. So Man City are in a tough spot.
I mean, but they're ready to fight back, though.
They're ready to fight back.
Let me read you guys out some news. I already
Lay it on me.
Yeah, lay it on.
I love it. I love hot news.
It's about Man City hiring a lawyer.
They're going to bring in some bulldogs.
Yep.
I'm telling you that.
Yeah, let me pop this on the screen for you guys. Okay?
Yep.
It says that Manchester City are set to hire Lord Paddy Casey. He's one of Boris Johnson's bodyguard lawyer.
Yeah.
To
He's one of
defend
the big
club.
guys.
Yep. Their legal battle against the Premier League. But yep, this guy typically he typically charges £5,000 an hour. But if this case goes on to trial,
Yep.
he could charge Man City £80,000 a day. It's the same wages as Kevin De Bruyne.
Crazy money. Absolute crazy money. They have it, so they're going to spend it. But of course,
This
is the price that they're willing to pay to kind of clear their reputation.
I mean, if I were him, I'm sorry, I don't fucking care. I just want to get rid of these charges as soon as possible.
Yeah.
But I don't want Pep to walk away.
Yeah. Well, what you just said right there is kind of a key point. You know, you just mentioned lawyers are getting involved. Now, this thing is going to get ugly. And I don't think we can use the phrase soon as possible. I think this thing could go on for a while before it finally goes to court or before it's settled. Who knows? But this could take a couple of years before they finally get it all settled. I don't know. I guess I'll finish up by saying this. If these charges are confirmed, I do think the punishment should be relegation.
Relegation.
I do think it's relegation. I don't care about taking back titles from the past. There's no point of doing that because that punishes the players who won those titles. And plus, we can't erase history, so I don't care about taking back titles, taking back records, blah, blah, blah. The only thing you can really do is a relegation. That's it. It's similar to what's happened to Juventus in recent seasons. It happened to Rangers a few years. Rangers were sent down like the 5th division because they were cheating so badly. They got sent down to the 5th division. They eventually came back up, of course. But I think it would have to be a relegation situation. But I don't think the Premier League has the balls to do that, especially with one other piece of news I'm going to bring up that just came out yesterday. There's more talk of bringing back the European Super League. We know that Real Madrid, Barcelona, and Juventus, those three are desperate for it. When they launched it a couple years ago and it fell apart, it was because the Premier League teams pulled out.
Yep.
But in actuality, Juventus, Barcelona, and Real Madrid never pulled out. Yeah. They just stayed quiet and kept cool. And now just yesterday, they released an update that they want to have a 50-team European Super League. 50 teams. 50 teams.
Jesus
and if Man City were to be relegated by the Premier League, Man City now essentially could be in a position where they say, like, you know what, you're going to relegate us? I don't care. I'm going to the European Super League with Barcelona, Real Madrid, and Juventus. So for Man City, this is great news yesterday. It really, it gives them some power against the Premier League. Yep. If the Premier League is going to try to mess with them, they can come back and say, okay, we're gone. And the Premier League obviously would have a big mess on their hands, a really big mess. On the other hand, if the Premier League doesn't do anything, clubs like Newcastle, who are owned by Saudi Arabia, they're just licking their lips saying, okay, we can spend as much money as we want, we can pay as much money as we want, and there's going to be no punishment for us either. Let's do it. Cheeky. So it's a real tough spot for the Premier League. If they do something, Man City could possibly walk away. If they don't, Newcastle could say, okay, let's do it. There's talk of Manchester United being bought by Qatar now. So if Man U's bought by Qatar, they could do the same thing. Say, okay, we're going to spend whatever we want. The Premier League can't touch us. Let's wait and see how it plays out.
Let's wait and see.
Wow. Well, that was the big talking point of the week. There was one midweek Premier League game, speaking of Man U, they played Leeds United. It was a 2-2 draw. Leeds had a couple early goals in that game. Man U came back with 2 goals, finished 2 of these.
I mean, Leeds didn't have a fucking manager.
They don't have a manager.
They don't have a manager.
I mean, when you think about a team with no manager, somehow get a draw.
Against United, which their form is on fire.
On fire, yeah, and that's at Old Trafford.
Yep. That's at Old Trafford.
Yeah.
I mean, the first goal was scored by Hondo.
Yeah, in the first minute.
Yep. He scores a banger. Less than a minute. He scored the first goal.
Yep.
And then the second goal come after.
It was an own goal.
It was an own goal.
It was Rafael Varane.
Rafael Varane.
Yeah.
Yep. And then
after that, so it was 2-0 at halftime. Second half, Man U came out with a bit more energy. Rashford got the goal.
Got the header.
Yeah, anytime Rashford gets a goal, Man U are in good position. They rely on him so much now. So if he scores, there's always a chance for them. And then after that, Jadon Sancho got the goal.
He just bounced back.
Bounced back. Good for him. Good for him. They've been saying he's been having some mental problems, depression problems.
Yeah.
it's difficult. There's so much going on in the world with personal lives right now. Good to see him bounce back.
Stay safe, guys.
Stay safe.
Stay away from depression.
Stay away. Absolutely, stay away from depression, man. That's the real deal.
That's terrible. That's
Yeah,
terrible.
I've seen a lot of stories actually about depression in footballers in recent years, and it is like definitely a problem. It's a real big problem.
It's going to affect your mentality. It's going to affect your mind.
Oh,
your thinking process.
No doubt. Especially like let's say you have a bad match. After the match, you jump onto social media. People are hammering you on social media. That's going to put you way down. And you're not going to feel good about yourself.
Especially the Premier League.
I know.
Those news reporters in England, they're harsh.
Brutal,
they're not going to care what they said. They're brutal.
They are. I think that's why most managers tell players these days to stay off of social media, stay off the Instagram, stay off the Twitter. Like this stuff can just it can do your head in. So anyway, that was the midweek match. Let's talk about what's coming up this weekend. Let's get back to the football. We had the dark talk with the Mancity, but ultimately we want to talk about the action of the football. So what do you like for this weekend? What do you think?
Well, there's a lot of match to talk about, but before we go on to the matches, I really want to do some quick talk about Liverpool.
Oh, let's do it.
I mean, Liverpool, they're going against Everton this week.
Misery side derby.
So yeah, I mean, Liverpool. I mean, where are they now?
I think they're 10th. But they might as well be 18th because I can say this: since the World Cup, since the Premier League came back after the World Cup, I believe they are in the bottom 3 since the restart of the Premier League. That's how bad they've been. They've been catastrophically bad. So okay, Wolves last weekend 3-0. We mentioned this when we were talking earlier in the week. Wolves had scored 12 goals all season in the Premier League. 12 goals. They hit Liverpool for 3, and it could have been more. It really could have been even more. That's how bad Liverpool are. Listen, we talked about it last week in great detail. The front 3 is shockingly bad. Salah is terrible. Gakpo is terrible. Nunez came back for this game. He looked terrible as well. So those 3 were awful. The middle of the pitch is terrible as well. Everybody knows this. Anytime Fabinho's on the pitch as a substitute, things are terrible. Henderson is a joke. The third Wolves goal, by the way, the third one that they got when Neves just ran down the middle of the pitch and scored a goal. That's Thiago. That's his man. Like Thiago, if you watch that third goal, Thiago was in the middle of the pitch saying, "Okay, I'm just going to stand here," and Neves just runs right past him, and it's a tap-in. That's it. It's a tap-in. And Thiago is like standing there, like not a care in the world, like nothing to care about at all.
I mean, it's 2-0 already. What's the point?
What's the point? I guess.
You probably think like, what's the fucking point of my running?
I know it.
It's 2-0 already. There's no way.
I guess the only point is that it's embarrassing. That's it. But it's just another sad day for the Liverpool midfield. The defending in this game was shocking as well. Matip was terrible. Joe Gomez was terrible. Alexander-Arnold was beyond terrible.
Absolute
diabolical, catastrophe, farcical, whatever you want to say that describes Alexander-Arnold.
That's him.
That's it. So a disaster. So they're coming back with Everton this week. Monday night they're playing Everton. So yeah, let's talk about it.
Yep. So Everton are at
nice win against Arsenal. Still in the bottom 3.
Still in the bottom 3.
Yep.
Liverpool are in 10th place.
Yep.
So I mean, anything could happen. Liverpool, they can't beat Brighton. They can't beat Wolves. I mean, with all
Brentford.
They can't even all the respects of Brighton, Brentford, and Wolves fans. I mean, it's the Premier League nature. Liverpool should beat all of them. But who knows? Even those 3 teams, Liverpool got destroyed. Completely destroyed.
3-1, 3-0, 3-0.
And Everton, they're on a momentum right now.
Oh yeah, that win, they're gonna be feeling good.
They have the big win against Arsenal. They have the new manager.
Oh yeah.
Anything could happen. Liverpool could be fucked that match.
Oh yeah.
Anything could happen.
I agree. Anything could happen. I do. I could see that match going anyway. I think Liverpool could continue and be a disaster and lose that game. I think Liverpool possibly could show a little bit of heart and maybe get a 1-0 win. I could see possibly about a draw in that game as well. I could see a draw. But one thing I will say for a side bet in that game, I'm not going to pick a winner, but I will say for a side bet, if you're looking to make a little bit of quick money, cheeky money, Liverpool to score first in that game.
Liverpool score first.
Liverpool to score first in that game. I'm going to say that. I do think Liverpool will score first. There's a chance that Everton could come back. 1-1, 2-1, who knows? But I do have a feeling Liverpool are going to get the first goal.
Liverpool can get it first.
First goal, yep. Yep, so that's my side bet of the weekend. Liverpool to score first against Everton.
I mean, if they score first, it's going to be hard for Everton, you know?
Correct. It is going to be hard. I guess, it's going to be very hard. Everton might be able to hit back for a 1-1. Let's see. But I'm going to go for Liverpool to score first.
Liverpool to score first.
Yeah, and as for who's going to win it, I'm not going to even try because
anything could happen. Anything could happen. I don't want to touch these matches.
Yep.
But before we go, Liverpool, do you think they're competing to go to the top four?
No, absolutely not.
No.
Oh God, no. No.
Oh God, no.
No, absolutely. Liverpool have zero chance of the top four. Zero. The best case scenario for Liverpool, and I mean the absolute best, I think is 6th or 7th.
6th or 7th.
Yup. I even think 6th might be optimistic. I'm going to say Liverpool are going to finish 7th in the Premier League.
7th?
And if they finish 7th, that's going to put them into the UEFA Conference next season.
It's quite embarrassing, you know?
I know it. Yeah. I think they're going to finish 7th in the Premier League. That's my pick. They're going to finish behind Man U, Man City, Spurs, Arsenal. Chelsea are going to eventually pass them. Newcastle are in front of them. So that's 6 right there. Fulham possibly could stay in front of them. Brentford could, and so could Brighton. You know,
so could Brighton.
So I think Liverpool's best scenario is 7th. It could be as far as 11th.
No.
It possibly could be 11th.
That's gonna be.
That's how ugly it is.
It's gonna be super.
It could be 11th.
Gone wrong.
Gone wrong. It's all gone belly up. Yeah, it's all gone belly up in Liverpool. But some of the other matches this weekend. The early kickoff on Saturday, Chelsea West Ham.
Chelsea West Ham.
What are you thinking about this?
Well, I mean, Chelsea could win.
I'm going for a Chelsea win.
We're going for Chelsea.
Yeah, I do. Chelsea, they're going to come good eventually. They have too much talent to continue to play like this. Graham Potter hasn't been very good, but they signed a lot of quality in the transfer window. I do think Chelsea will beat West Ham.
I just don't believe in West Ham. I mean, their lack of confidence. They can't score goals.
Yep.
I mean, they're in a bad spot right now.
Bad spot. They're in a bad spot.
Right now, so I think probably Chelsea would probably win this.
I'm going for a Chelsea win.
We'll go for Chelsea.
Okay, good
what
shot.
What the score's going to be? Here we go.
A score, I'm going to say 2-0. 2-0 Chelsea.
I'll say 2 is a little bit expected.
Okay.
Expected.
Okay.
I would say 4-0.
4-0.
4-0.
Brilliant.
Fabianski's fucked. 4-0.
4-0 would be awesome.
Mudrik's gonna destroy Kurt soon, man. He's gonna destroy. What the hell is his name? West Ham. What's his name? The West Ham right back.
It's oh God, I'm drawing a blank right now. Also, I have to look it up.
Anyway, he's gonna fucking destroy both of them, and then Fabianski could be possibly fucked.
Well, I do think the goalkeeper and the back four could be in for a long afternoon, a really long afternoon. West Ham is at home in that game, but I'd still.
How many matches have they played at home and they lose?
A lot.
This season, I was mad at West Ham so many bloody times in this season.
Yeah.
Even when they're playing at home.
Yeah.
The best thing they could do is a draw.
A draw, yeah. They've had a terrible season.
They just can't win. They can't score goals.
No, they can't.
I just don't believe in West Ham anymore.
I don't feel good about them either. So Chelsea win. Arsenal with Brentford, another London derby. I'm going for an Arsenal win in this one.
Arsenal should be winning, of course. But hear me out. I'm gonna say this match is gonna end up a draw.
I don't think it's a bad prediction. I mean, you know that right now, I was just looking at the goal scorers in the Premier League. Number 3 in the Premier League right now is Tony. Yeah, he's number 3. It's Holland, Kane, Tony. That's your top 3. So Arsenal could have a difficult time with him. They could.
I mean, the confidence that they're facing right now. They just lost to Everton.
Yep.
They just lost to Mancity.
Back to back, yeah.
Back-to-back losses. I think the momentum could go down. And Brentford, they just beat.
Brentford had a nice win last week over Southampton.
They just beat Southampton.
Yeah, we picked that one. Yeah.
So I think the momentum in that game, Arsenal could feel a little weak, but I mean,
Fair enough. It's not a bad prediction. Furthermore, next week in the Premier League, Wednesday night, Arsenal are playing Man City. There's a chance that Arsenal are possibly thinking about that game already, and Brentford might be able to pop up and surprise them.
Brentford will fucking surprise Arsenal. The title's gonna be a wobble. Arsenal, I don't know, maybe you're in your squiggle off in your form. I don't care. Anyway,
I don't care. Let's see what happens. I am gonna go for an Arsenal win. You're going for a draw.
I'm gonna go for a 2-2 draw.
I like it.
What about the score's gonna be for Arsenal to win?
Arsenal to win. I'm gonna say 2-1 Arsenal.
2-1.
2-1. Yeah, 2-1 Arsenal.
Ivan Tony's gonna completely destroy Arsenal.
I love him. I love him.
Tony.
And Man City's playing with Aston Villa. I think Man City should definitely beat Villa. I would think it's been a tough week for them, but I expect Man City to beat Villa.
Should be Man City.
Yeah, absolutely.
Worst case scenario is a draw.
A draw, yeah, but I'm going for a Man City win over Villa. Villa had a bad game last week, and actually they lost to Leicester City 4-2.
4-2.
And they didn't look good at all. And so Leicester really got them. So I'm going for a Man City win over Villa.
Scores.
I'm going to go for Man City 3-0 over Villa.
3-0.
3-0 over Villa. Yeah, comfortable win. 2-0. Yeah. Man, you are playing with Leeds. Again. 4 days later. This one is at Ellen Road.
At Leeds.
Leeds still have no manager, but they can feel good because they just had a 2-2 with United.
2-2 with
Now
United.
they're going to play them again this weekend. Leeds United, Manchester United. What do you think?
Well, there is a case like this, in the FA Cup. It's
Yes.
Sunderland against Fulham.
Yep.
So Sunderland is so the first match, Sunderland is draw with Fulham.
Yep. And Sunderland should have won that game.
Sunderland should have won
They
that
should
game,
have,
but it was offside.
Yep.
And in the next match, Fulham just won by 3-2.
3-2, yeah. Full
So
3-2, yeah.
I don't know if this is going to be the same situation as Man United against Leeds, but who knows? I mean, Leeds, they can feel good. They don't even have a manager, they can do this good. I mean, Man United, it's quite a big devil, but I mean, it could be a draw. It could be a draw.
Yeah.
It could be a draw.
It's such a big rivalry. I mean, those two clubs hate each other. There is a long history. It's easy to forget this because Leeds were out of the Premier League for so long. But in many ways, Manchester United's biggest, most hated rival really could be Leeds United. I mean, there's a long history of hatred between the two clubs. I think Leeds are really going to be up for this match, really up for it. I'm going to go for another draw in this one. I am going to go for another draw.
Here we go.
Yeah, another draw.
What's the score's going to be?
I'll go for a 1-1 draw.
You go for a 1-1 draw.
Yeah, I'd go for a 1-1 draw in it. It's one of those games, though, it kind of reminds me of the Liverpool-Everton game, though. It could go any direction, and I would not be surprised at all.
I wouldn't be surprised. It's Premier League nature.
Yeah, it's Premier League nature. So that one, I think that covers it up pretty well. But I did want to throw out my 3-team teaser. I'm going to throw it out there.
Here we go.
Yeah. Again, no promises. I hit on them occasionally. Last week, the last two I did not.
The last 2 weeks was a disaster.
The FA Cup didn't work, and then last week in the Premier League it didn't work. But here we go. 3-team teaser. Chelsea over West Ham.
Chelsea over West Ham.
Man City over Aston Villa.
City over Aston Villa.
City over Aston Villa. I'm going with that. Yep, City over Aston Villa. And my last one that I'm going to throw out there to complete my teaser, I'm going to go with Fulham over Brentford.
Fulham over
Another London derby. But I think that Fulham's going to get them. I think Fulham's going to get Brentford. I know we like Brentford. We picked them last weekend to win. They delivered. But this weekend, I think Fulham's going to get them.
Fulham's going to get it. Well,
Yeah.
actually, you did say you did say. I mean, when we talked earlier this week, you did say. I think you said something about Nottingham Forest.
Who's Forest playing? We were talking about Forest.
All right, let me check real quick.
Maybe it's Fulham who's playing Forest, by the way. I might have gotten that wrong.
All right, let's see. So it's a Saturday match.
Yeah, I could lose the plot. Let me get a
It's
look.
Fulham against Forest.
There we go, Fulham against Forest. All right, I apologize. Yeah, Fulham over Forest. That's my pick.
Fulham.
Yeah, I apologize to Brentford. Yeah, it is Fulham over Forest. Yeah, that's my teaser. Fulham over Forest, City over Villa.
City over Villa.
Yeah, City over Villa, and Chelsea over West Ham. Those three. So,
if you guys want to throw one match in, I mean, Brighton against Crystal Palace.
this must be like a big derby weekend of teams that hate each other. Because Brentford and Palace, Brighton and Palace have a long history. I'm not touching that one.
You're not touching
I'm not
that one.
touching it.
Well,
no.
just to give you guys a little more choices, I think Brentford is going to completely, not Brentford, pardon me.
Yeah, pardon me.
Brighton will completely destroy Crystal Palace. Crystal Palace, I mean,
Could be. I mean, Palace. Well, Palace they lost 2-1 with Man United last week, and again, Casemiro sent off for trying to kill Will Hughes. I don't really know. Palace, I know, is at home. That's an intense game. A really big derby match. Could go anyway. I'm not touching it.
You're not touching it.
No.
So just if you guys want to do some luck, if you guys feeling lucky, go for Brentford, guys. Trust me.
All right.
Trust me. Go
Listen to him. Listen to him. Because honestly, if you watch these videos, there's a lot of times he's bang on, and I don't get it. I don't know it. So I'd say it's a safe pick. For me, I'm going with Fulham. I'm going with City, and I'm going with Chelsea. And as my side bet, just a little action, a little side money, Liverpool to score first against Everton.
Liverpool will score first against Everton.
Yep.
Well,
Yep.
so that should be about the matches.
Absolutely. I think that we've covered it very, very well. We'll come back and we'll recap it all next week.
Yep. But before we go, we have something to talk about. We are detective now. Me and Teacher are detective. We're going to talk about the crime, the criminal.
We do have to lay that out there, before we go. Mason Greenwood.
Mason Greenwood. He's back. He just broke out of prison.
All charges dropped. No witnesses. The prosecution has nothing. What do you think is going to happen with this guy?
I mean, I've seen Eric Ten Hag talking about this in the press conference. Well, the press conference asked him about Mason Greenwood, and he said, "I'm sorry, but I'm not going to say anything."
Correct.
He's not going to say anything.
Yeah.
I mean, it's like you said earlier in the week. He could quit the Premier League and go to China, go to Vietnam,
Saudi Arabia.
Saudi Arabia.
Yeah.
I mean,
he might have to go abroad to rebuild his career. He might. I mean, he can team up with Ronaldo in Saudi Arabia.
Yeah, because he doesn't have a place to. He doesn't have a place to stand in the Premier League.
Yeah, it's going to be tough. Even though there's no charges, the problem for Greenwood is the tape is still out there, and the tape is still really, really ugly.
Use your fucking legs up.
There's no denying it. Like, I'm not going to repeat what he said. If you want to listen to it, just go to YouTube.
Just go to YouTube.
That's it. But with that tape still out there for everybody to hear, I don't see how a Premier League club or any club in England can give him a chance when these terrible things have been said. Now, I'm a big second chance guy. I am. I'm a big believer in people paying their price and getting a second chance. The problem for me is I don't know if Mason Greenwood has paid his price yet. I don't know if he should be given a second chance yet. It's kind of like he stayed quiet, and then the charges were dropped, and the case was dismissed. But with the tape being out there, and we know for a fact he said those rotten things, I don't know if he deserves a second chance just yet. If he comes out and he's sincere and apologetic and wants to rebuild his career, then let's do it. Let's get him back in the Premier League and give him another chance. But until that happens, I still think there's work for him to do.
There's more for him to do.
Yeah.
I mean, the thing he said is like, it's making me think that maybe he's on drugs or something.
Could be. It could, yeah. Right. It's not a normal thing to say. It's not normal.
He could be on drugs or something.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, to be fair, I don't think Eric Ten Hag's gonna do. I don't think he's gonna do what you just said. I mean, he doesn't. Basically, he doesn't have a place to stand now.
Correct.
The thing he could do is just, I mean, go aboard.
Go abroad. Yeah.
Go aboard.
Yeah. I would think so. I mean, for Manchester United, it's disappointing because he's still so young and he's so bloody talented. Yeah, but if they use him, there's going to be ramifications for it, and I don't think the club want to do that. That's a kind of a dark road to go down right now. He's just going to have to rebuild his career. That's it.
He screwed up his career.
He did take things a step at a time, a day at a time. But from his perspective, at least he's got to be thinking, thank God I'm not in prison. Thank God I'm not going to prison.
You better go say thank you to your girlfriend, because
Yeah.
she refuses to be the witness.
Correct.
I mean, if she go as a witnesses,
Oh, it was a different
he
story.
will be completely fucked.
Oh yeah.
Now he can play football in prison.
He'd be playing. Yep, he'd be in prison right now, kicking the ball around in the prison yard. So that's not what happened though. He's going to get a chance. The other one that happened a few years back, Benjamin Mendy. Man City fullback. Extremely talented. Man City paid £50 million for him from Monaco, I believe.
Yeah.
He was on the team, the 100-point champion team that won the Premier League. He was on the Premier League team the following season that were champions with 98 points, the one that beat Liverpool at 1 point. He was an extremely talented player, and then he went down for alleged rape. That one did go to trial. Once it got to trial, we heard that the case was shaky, very shaky, and the jury exonerated him. They said he was not guilty. But even though he was exonerated, found not guilty, cleared of everything, he still never come back from it. So, if Benjamin Mendy couldn't come back, I don't really see how it's going to be possible for Mason Greenwood to come back.
Of course. I mean, Man City at left back, we have already got like Akanji, Kyle Walker, he could play as a left back.
Oh, yeah.
Anyone could play as a left back
Yeah.
at Man City, so he doesn't have a place to stand.
No, he doesn't. Yeah, it would have to be a much smaller club that wanted to give Benjamin Mendy a second chance, but no one's going to do it. No one. Yeah, sad.
Normally if we saw cases like this, if footballer goes to trial, there's news about rape, about any kind of charges. I mean, they're fucked.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
Their career is over.
Yeah, once your name's attached to something like this, you're in trouble. You're in big trouble.
You're screwed.
Let's see about Greenwood. I am curious. I'm curious to see how it all plays out for the guy. But it's something we're not going to know more about for a long time. I've got a feeling. No one's going to bring him in this season. And no one's going to bring him in next season either. So we're looking at a minimum, I'd say, of 2 years before he might get a chance to.
2 years?
I would think so. Because let's say this transfer window comes around in June and July. We're not going to see news of, Manchester United sells Mason Greenwood to AC Milan. It's not going to happen. It's too toxic. So it's going to take a couple of years. But he's got a chance. He's got a chance to rebuild his career, and he's just got to change. That's it.
Well, I think, that's about it, mate. About Mason Greenwood.
So I think we nailed it.
We nailed it. I completely ran out of things to say about him.
Yeah.
It's just too hilarious.
Yeah, absolutely. It was just a big mess.
I probably should say it, but I think at that time he's a young Thundercat. Because the things he spilled out of his mouth, he was a young, horny teen Thundercat.
Yeah, listen, young bloke. That's the thing about these footballers, especially these footballers that are so talented and making so much money. The world is their oyster. So a lot of times they don't think before they speak. They don't realize the possible ramifications of their actions. And because of that, they can get themselves into trouble. Big trouble. I remember back in the day, Ashley Cole from Chelsea. My God, this guy was #1 playboy. He had loads, and he was married. He was married to his wife, Cheryl Cole, and she was wonderful. She was lovely, but he had loads of women. He wasn't talking like Greenwood, saying dirty things, inappropriate things. He was just behaving inappropriately. But there was never any video of it or any speaking of. But my point is this, Ashley Cole had all these women around. Before Ashley Cole, it was someone else and someone else and someone else. This has been going on since football began, of players being in a position of power and taking advantage of that power, and that happened to Greenwood.
But who knows? He played himself.
Yeah, he did.
He played himself. So
man,
to say.
Yeah. Well, I guess we'll finish it up there.
We'll finish it up here.
We covered a lot. I feel very good about that. And next week we'll come back, recap the Premier League, and also, like we mentioned, this week in the Premier League, Man City, Arsenal, midweek. So we're definitely going to have to get a video in to talk about that game.
Yeah, we'll do it.
So that's one to look forward to.
One to look forward to. So stay tuned, guys. Don't miss out any more episodes. Don't miss out any episode.
Absolutely.
After this, even this one or after this, it's gonna be on fire.
Yeah, and
get things covered.
we're gonna keep things going, and hopefully for everybody out there who's gonna place their bets, hopefully our advice is a bit better for you this week. Fulham, City, Chelsea, Liverpool to score first. You're going for Arsenal to have a draw with Brentford.
I mean, well, actually, don't. Just don't.
But that could be special.
It could be special.
That could be
so, guys, if you're feeling lucky, just place the bloody bets
If you're
on
feeling
draw.
lucky, if you're feeling lucky.
If you're feeling lucky, if somehow you want to trust me, just place a bet for draw.
Okay.
I know Arsenal against Brentford.
All right.
For draw. Wonderful. So,
All right, mate, we nailed that.
So stay tuned for the next episode, guys. This one's gonna do it for football prediction with me and Teacher Mark. We'll see you guys in the next episode. Peace.
Brilliant.